Welcome all to the second episode of the Stone Seekers of Brightvale campaign. So here I'm playing The Endlessness, a game I created where we have an AI dungeon master that allows me to play Dungeons and Dragons alone. Not because I don't like to play with people, but because people aren't always available and my dungeon master sometimes has things to do like finishing his PhD thesis and whatnot. Excuses. Okay, so first things first, let's ask our dungeon master to give us a summary. A summary of what happened thus far. Let's see if he does a good job. But yeah, so let's wait for the DM to give a summary. I will butcher the summary for sure and not be able to tell you everything exactly as it happens. So, campaign so far, session 1, the beginning. You are Belathor, a dwarf barbarian who arrived at Emberforth, a frontier fortress town guarding the passage into the umbra-choked wastes. You come to join the Venturers, the brave souls who descend into the wastes to map ruins, hunt abominations, and recover relics of the fallen Armesian Empire. The Stone Seekers are born. At the last Ember Tavern, you met Boren Hand, a miner from the Deep Delver Company who had just returned from the Idle Hollows. He shared troubling news. 3 seasoned venturers vanished near the Whispering Crags, their camp found intact, no tracks, no struggle. The scout's last known position was near the Whispering Crags. He mentioned legends of the Stone Sleepers, ancient beings that might awaken due to mining. He warned of umbraflux, a dangerous phenomenon in the wastes. You proposed a dwarven-only expedition to investigate the disappearances. Boren agreed to join if you got serious. You formed the Stone Seekers faction, agreed to fund the expedition, 50 gold pieces for supplies, and took on the task of securing a travel pass from the Ember Guard. Securing the pass. You visited Sergeant Boren at the Ember Guard barracks. You tried to push for a 14-day pass to Idle Hollows, but your persuasion failed, rolled 10 versus a DC of 15, and you granted a standard 7-day pass instead. He warned about restless activity in the wastes and the missing Venturer scouting party near the Whispering Crags. 6 experienced Venturers gone without a trace. The morning of departure. You slept at the stone pillow, checked all your equipment, and brought ale for the road. 3 dwarfs arrived in the inn sent by Boren. Thrain, broad-shouldered, red-bearded leader of the group, Crag, silent type, heavy pickaxe, and Dern, watchful, crossbow specialist. Boren himself is not coming. He's leading a deep delver excavation at the Shattered Spires. Thrain hinted that they know this might be more than a mining survey, especially regarding the Whispering Crags. Your current situation. You and your 3 dwarves companions are now standing at the Gate of Souls in Emberforth, ready to present your pass and descend into the wastes. The line is moving, a guard is checking passes ahead. Active quest, the first expedition. Departure is scheduled for dawn, the Combined Guild expedition assembles tomorrow, but you're going ahead with the Stone Seekers to investigate the hollows and possibly the Whispering Crags beyond. You're at the gate now, what do you do? So, great summer actually. So, I went to a tavern, I found some dwarfs, they were singing, I talked to them, we decided to create a dwarf-only company and we're exploring. Now, one thing I don't like here, Boren left me hanging. So I created a new feature, notes, and I'm going to use this to write down Boren is a little bitch. Because he was supposed to come with me, and why does he send 3 random dwarfs to join me instead of coming along? I don't like this, I need to remember this for future things. Now, what do we do? My pass is for 6 people, and we are 4. I hope that's not a problem. Let's just go ahead. So I wait in line for our turn, asking the 3 dwarfs why they are joining and what they are looking to find. I need to know these guys better. Thrain, Crag, and Dern. These were not the dwarfs I met before, I think. You fall into line behind a merchant with a heavy-laden mule, and as the queue shuffles forward, you turn to Thrain, keeping your voice low. Why are you dead, really? Why are you three really joining? Boren said it's a mining survey, but there's something in your eyes that says you're looking for more than ore samples. Thrain exchanges a glance with Crag, and then with Dern. The crossbow wielder shrugs almost imperceptibly. Thrain lets out a breath, watching the gate ahead. Boren's a good lad, but he plays it safe. Always has. Deep Delver's contracts pay the bills, sure, but they don't make a dwarf's name. He taps his chest. I spent 20 years in the Deep Delver's shafts. Seen the same rock, the same tunnels, the same pay pouch at the end of the week. He looks at you, his eyes sharp. The wastes are where fortunes are made. Armesian relics, old vaults, forgotten roads lined with gold and gemstones. The hollows are picked clean. Everyone knows that. But the crags, he trails off. Crag rumbles, his voice like stones grinding together. Heard stories. A venturer came through the Deep Delver camp last month. Half mad. Kept talking about a door he found in the crags. A door made of black stone with symbols that moved. Ah, this is new. Dern adds quietly. He had a bag of coins with him. Armesian gold. Never seen minting like that. Paid for his drink in solid antique pieces. Thrain meets your gaze. We're joining because we think you're heading where the real prize is, Belathor. Not the hollows. The crags. He gestures to his companions. We've got picks for digging, a sharp eye for danger, and we don't spook easy. What do you want out there? The lines moves forward. You're next. Ah, okay. So these guys look cool. They want to do exactly what I want to do, which is likely die trying to find some ancient relic. So I nod and whisper, I am looking for the same as you. And I get ready to show the pass to the guards. Okay. Boren's a little bitch, as notes say, but at least he got me some nice dwarfs that seem to be aligned with me. Thrain's eyes gleam with understanding. He gives a single firm nod. Good. Then we're together in this. The merchant in front of you finishes his inspection and leads his mule through the gate, its hooves echoing on the stonework. A guard in amber guard livery, a tall human woman with a scar across her jaw, motions you forward. She's wearing a heavy cloak over ringmail, and the breath plumes in the morning cold. Pass, she says, her hand extended. You produce the folded parchment bearing the Amber Guard seal. She takes it, reads it carefully, then looks past you at Thrain, Crag, and Dern. 6 dwarves sign on this pass, she says, counting. You're short 3. She raises an eyebrow. Where's the rest of your party? Well, she doesn't know how to count first. We are 4, but fine. Thrain answers before you can. Back at the Delpova compound, finishing the supply load. They'll catch in the evening descent. Boren Ironhand arranged it. The guard studies him for a moment, then looks back at the pass. She shrugs and stamps it, with a small iron mark. 7 days. The hollows and the marked trails only. You stray into restricted zones, the pass is void, and you'll be flagged. Understood? She hands the pass back to you and steps aside, motioning toward the yawning tunnel beyond the gate. Venturous trail is marked with white stones. Stick to them. Gate closes at dusk. If you're not back, you sleep in the wastes. Beyond the gate, the tunnel descends sharply into shadow. The stone walls are damp, and a cold wind rises from below, carrying a strange, faint smell, like ozone after a thunderstorm, mixed with something ancient and earthy. This sounds like a nice perfume. You lead the company into the tunnel? Yes, I do. We move briskly ahead. We know where we want to go. The Hollows, right? That's the name of the place we want to go. No, the Crags. The Crags. Let's put that in the note as well. We want to go to the Crags. My memory is potato. All right, you stride through the gate into the tunnel, the 3 dwarves falling in behind you. The passage is wide enough for 4 to walk abreast, carved from the living rock of the mountain. Torches flicker in sconces at regular intervals, but their light barely penetrates the gloom ahead. The descent is gradual but noticeable. The temperature drops steadily. The strange ozone-tinged smell grows stronger the deeper you go. After about 15 minutes of walking, you emerge into a narrow shelf of rock, the Venturous Trail. The wastes stretch before you. It's not quite what you might have expected. The ground is cracked, ashen grey for as far as you can see, dotted with patches of twisted, leafless vegetation. Strange rock formations jut up at odd angles, and here and there you can see the remains of old structures, crumbled walls, half-buried arches, the skeletal remains of what might have been Armesian watchtowers. A pale, hazy light filters through the cloud-choked sky, giving everything a muted, sepulchral quality. Hey, I don't know how to read this word. Thrain comes up beside you, scanning the horizon. The hollows are about half a day's march southwest, he says, pointing to a distant ridge. The crags lie northeast, past those spires. He gestures towards a jagged range of dark stone peaks on the horizon. 2 days hard march, maybe less if we push it. He looks at you. If we're heading for the crags, we should leave the marked trails sooner rather than later. But the patrols don't go past the hollows. We go straight to the crags. We head straight to the crags. Hard march. Dwarfs don't do things in half measures. And we go ahead and we brisk ahead. I'm hoping this doesn't mean we get caught. Let's see. Thrain grins. A rare, sharp expression. Now you're speaking my language. Crag grunts his approval, shifting his pickaxe to a more comfortable position. Dern silently adjusts his crossbow and begins scanning the terrain ahead with practiced eyes. You step off the marked trail, leaving the white stones behind. The ground underfoot is cracked and uneven, but solid. The pale light casts long shadows as you lead your company northeast towards the dark spires of the Whispering Crags. The first hour passes without incident. The silence of the wastes is profound. No birds, no wind through the leaves, just the crunch of your boots on ashen ground and the occasional distant rumble that might be thunder or something else entirely. Strange rock formations loom at the edges of your vision, twisted into shapes that almost resemble faces or grasping hands. As the second hour begins, Dern holds up a hand, signaling a halt. He's crouched low, pointing ahead. About 200 feet away, half buried in the grey earth, is a Venturous tent, torn, collapsed and stained dark. Around it, scattered across the ground, are the remains of a camp, a cold fire pit, scattered gear, and what looks like a broken short bow lying in the ash. There are no bodies. What do you do? Okay. I listen carefully for any sounds. If none are heard, I advance to inspect carefully, always looking for movement. This is interesting. So, some venturers came here. So this is only an hour's march, so still pretty close. Let's see. You signal the others to hold still. The wastes fall silent around you, that same heavy, muffled quiet. You cup a hand behind your ear, straining to catch anything, the faint whistle of wind across the stone, the scuff of a boot on gravel, a whisper of breath, the flap of the torn tent fabric stirring in a breeze that you can't quite feel on your skin. Nothing. The camp ahead is utterly still. Thrain shifts his weight behind you, muscles tensed. Crag's hand tightens on his pickaxe. Dern has his crossbow half raised, scanning the perimeter. You take a step forward, then another. The ground is soft, muffling your footsteps. The tent grows closer. The broken shortbow lies in a scattering of ash and embers, cold for some time. A dented iron pot rests beside the fire pit, and the bedroll lies half unrolled, as if someone had been about to sleep and simply stopped. The torn tent flaps stir again. Okay, and I have to do a roll, skill check, perception. My roll last time was terrible. Let's see if this time I can roll anything good. 9. I needed a 13. God damn it. Okay, the rolls are cursed and I hate this dice. You strain your ears, but the silence remains unbroken. No footsteps, no breathing, no whispers. Whatever is, or was, here is still perfectly still. You advance on to the camp, your companions fanning out behind you in a loose formation. Up close, the scene is even stranger. The tent is slashed, not by claws or teeth, but by something sharp and deliberate, as if cut with a blade. The bedroll is undisturbed except for being unrolled. The fire pit is cold, the ash several days old at least. Crag kneels at the fire pit, shifting through the ash with thick fingers. He pulls out a shared piece of bone, too small to identify, but it's not from any animal he seems to recognize. Dern circles the perimeter, his crossbow tracking across the terrain. No tracks, he mutters. Not going in, not coming out. The ground's hard enough, but still. He shakes his head. Should be something. Thrain stands near the tent, peering inside. Belathor, he says, his voice low. Come look at this. You step to the tent flap. Inside, lying on the ground, is a venturous patch. The embroidered emblem of a cross, torch and sword, standard issue. And beneath it, scratched into the dirt floor of the tent, are 2 words. They sing. Damn! The letters are uneven, desperate, as if carved by trembling hand. What the hell? They sing? What is this? I wasn't expecting to have such a mystery just 1 hour's march away from the... This is really cool. Alright. Damn. They sing, I mutter. Does this ring a bell to any of you? I ask the party. I then want to... What do I want to? I don't know, look around. Find any other clues. Anything that tells me how many people were here and what happened. They sing. So I'm guessing someone was here and heard something sing and then went mad, or God knows. You mutter the words under your breath as the question hangs in the cold hair. Thrain furrows his brow, stroking his beard thoughtfully. Nothing I've heard in any Depth Delver's camp, but the wastes have their own songs, or so they say. Crag shakes his head silently. Dern, still scanning the horizon, offers a gruff, old venturous tale. Something about the crags singing at night. Never put too much stock in it. You turn your attention to the camp itself, crouching low and sweeping your gaze across every detail. Let's do investigation check. God damn, please. A 13 for this? Okay, exactly 13 for 13. It's the first roll I can succeed in this goddamn thing. You piece it together carefully. 4 people. You count 4 distinct sets of impressions in the disturbed ash and gravel around the fire pit. 3 bedrolls laid out, 1 still rolled. The tent was for 2. Someone was on watch when it happened. The direction of attack. The tent is slashed from the inside. Not from the outside. Whatever happened started within the camp itself. No signs of struggle. The cookpot is upright, the gear is scattered but not trampled. No dragged footprints, no blood trails leading away. The dark stains on the tent are old. Rainwater mixed with the rust or something that looks like it, but isn't quite blood. The broken short bow, snapped on the grip, not cut, snapped by force. You find the other half near the tent. The bowstring still intact but slack. Rations. A half-empty pouch of dried meat lies near the fire pit, untouched by animals. Strange. Carrion eaters avoid this camp. The venturous patch. Standard issue, but this one has a small faded mark on the back. A stamped letter V with a number beneath it. Issue number. You could trace it back to a specific venturer registry in Emberford. Thrain watches your work, then speaks quietly. 4 venturers. Their camp was intact. They just vanished from the middle of it. And whatever got them, the animals don't want to be any part of this place. He looks at the distant dark spires of the Whispering Crags. Alright. I mean, this is a camp. Could have some nice things. I want to search for any useful items, weapons, gold, rations, anything we can salvage. I also want to understand how old this is. When was the attack made? How old the fire? Or anything like that. Let's do some more searching around. This is curious. So a little legend starts to form. So the Whispering Crags, well, they apparently don't whisper, they sing. You begin sifting through the camp systematically. Let's see what you find and how much you can discern about the timeline. You kneel and run your fingers through the ash. It's cold, but there's a fine layer of dust settled over it. Between the ash depth, the faint dryness of the abandoned rations, and the lack of recent rain disturbance on the tent fabric, you estimate this camp has been abandoned for about 4 days. You search the scattered gear methodically. Most of it is ruined. Slashed bedrolls, a snapped bow, a shattered water skin. But you manage to salvage 3 useful things. A steel hand axe, wedged under the collapsed tent, still sharp. A solid throwing or shopping tool. A pouch of 23 gold coins, that's much more than I had, half buried near the fire pit, mixed with ember dust. Someone must have dropped it in the chaos. A rolled map, tucked inside a leather tube near one of the bedrolls, protected from the elements. You unroll it to find a hand-drawn map of the wastes, with paths marked in the charcoal. There's a circled location deep in the Whispering Crags, annotated with a single word. Entrance. Oh. Thrain lets out a low whistle as he peers at the map. That's not on any deep Delvask chart we've ever seen. Crag picks up the hand axe, testing its weight, then offers it to you. I take everything and say, I guess we know where we're headed, cousins. Yes, we do. Okay. And this cousins things is from last session. Apparently dwarfs in this world call each other cousins. I'm all in for it. They're my bros now. You stow the gold in your pouch, slide the hand axe into your belt, it has a fine balance to it, and carefully roll the map back into its tube, tucking it securely into your pack. Aye, that we do, Thrain says, his voice a low rumble. The Crags have been hiding something, and before the adventurers found it, he taps the map tube. We'll find it too, but we'll be smarter about it. Let's hope. Crag spits to the side. They sang, he mutters, shaking his head. Whatever it was, they heard it coming. That's true. Dern shoulders his crossbow and falls into position at the rear of the group. Then we keep our mouths shut and our ears open. If the Crags sing, we'll hear them before they hear us. The 4 of you set off again, bearing northeast. The terrain grows rockier as you go, the spires of the Whispering Crags looming larger with every mile. The pale light begins to fade as the afternoon deepens into early evening, casting long, distorted shadows across the cracked earth. After another 2 hours of hard marching, the ground begins to rise. The first of the crag's outcroppings jut from the soil like broken teeth. The wind picks up, threading through the stone channels, and you catch it, faint, almost imperceptible at first, a sound, a low, resonant hum, like a distant choir held beneath the mountain. Dern freezes. There, he whispers. Do you hear it? The Crags are singing. Holy shit. Okay. I hear it, I say. Let's continue, but silently. We need to hear a single branch twitch. Be attentive. Whew. I feel the pressure. I'm feeling anxious already. The party moves at your commands, Boots finding quiet perches on the rocky ground. Crag shifts his weight with surprising silence for a dwarf so broadly built. Thrain keeps one hand on his pickaxe, the other free to signal. Dern brings up the rear, crossbow loaded, eyes sweeping the crags above. The humming grows louder as you push deeper into the labyrinth of stone spires. It's not a melody, exactly, more like a singing sustained note, splitting into harmonies as it reverberates through the rock. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It vibrates in your chest, in your teeth. You round a corner between two towering rock pillars and stop. Before you, at the base of the largest spire, is an opening. A dark, roughly triangular cleft in the stone, about 8 feet tall and 5 across at its widest. The humming is noticeably louder here, and you can feel a faint, warm draft emanating from within. The carved word's entrance from your map echoes in your mind. Around the mouth of the cave, you notice something odd. The rock is smooth, unnaturally so, as if worn by centuries of touch. And carved into the stone above the opening, half erased by time and weather, is a symbol. A circle divided by a wavy line, with 7 stars arranged around its edge. Thrain squints at it. Never seen that mark before. Dwarven, elven, something older. The humming continues, steady and pulsing, from somewhere deep within. I'm gonna save... First of all, this is amazing. Second of all, how is this okay? A circle divided by a wavy line. Let's save this in the notes. Not sure why, but this is cool. Huh. I try to remember if I know this symbol from anywhere. Can I remember? Do I know this? This is neat. I guess we need to go in anyways. Okay, of course, history check. So, you stare at the symbol, turning it over in your mind. The circle, the dividing wave, the 7 stars. It tugs at something deep in your memory. You've heard songs at Hearth in Emberford, old dwarf tales told over ale, fragments of lore from passing venturers. You step closer, brow furrowed, trying to drag the knowledge from the surface to the surface. Okay, let's roll. DC 15, I don't think... Oh, I said 10. I remember nothing. I have amnesia. You frown, scratching at your beard. The symbol feels familiar. A half-remembered tale from a campfire, a fragment of a saga sung in a mountain hall, but the specifics won't come. It splits through your mind like water through your fingers. Thrain watches your thinking. Recognize it? You shake your head slowly. The shape. It's old. Older than Emberford, but I can't place it. Crag grunts. We could stand here staring at stones until we freeze, or we could find out what's making that noise. He jerks his chin towards the dark opening. Dern shifts his crossbow. Whatever carved that mark and those venturers is probably inside. But we didn't come all this way to turn back at the doorstep. You know, let's just fight with things that can carve fucking stone with fingernails. The humming continues, low, patient, unworldly. From the cave mouth, the warm draft carries a faint mineral scent, like stone deep underground, mixed with something else, something metallic. Metallic? Do you enter the cave? Let us go. Dwarves aren't afraid of no rock and no cave. Ahead, cousins. But silently. We push through. This is really cool. Okay, something that sings. Something that attacked from inside. The tents. Did they go insane? Is it something that makes people go insane? Maybe? Should I be worried about that? Your words steady the party. I'm very calm. Thrain gives a curt nod. Crag hefts the salvaged hand axe, and Dern cocks his crossbow with a soft click. The 4 of you step into the darkness. Beyond the entrance, the cave opens into a tunnel roughly 10 feet wide, its walls lined with veins of pale, crystalline rock. The humming is immediately louder, a resonant drum that seems to vibrate through the stone itself, through your boots, through your bones. And there is light, a faint, phosphorescent glow emanating from the crystals embedded in the walls, casting everything in a dim, bluish hue. The tunnel slopes downward at a gentle angle, curving out of sight after about 40 feet. You notice the walls bear more carvings, not a symbol from outside, but flowing, abstract patterns that almost resemble script. They coil along the rock in spirals and waves, too eroded to read clearly. The warm draft grows stronger as you descend, carrying that metallic tang more sharply now. About 30 feet in, Dern freezes. He raises a hand, first clenched. Halt! He points ahead. Around the curve, about 20 feet further, the tunnel opens into a larger chamber. There's a flickering light, not crystal-born, but fire. A torch set in a sconce on the far wall, still burning. Someone has been here. Recently. What do you do? Okay, a torch couldn't be burning for 4 days, so it's not the guys from the tent. Or, I mean, they can be the guys. I never found any bodies. They can just be here, trapped here, after going insane. What do I do? What do I do? Ahead, cousins. Beyond the defensive, there seems to be someone or something around. I'll go ahead, cover my back and sides, and we move forward. Why stop now? It smells metallic. You lead the way, great axe in hand, advancing silently along the tunnel wall. Crag moves to your left flank, the hand axe low and ready. Thrain takes the right, pickaxe raised. Really, your weapon is a pickaxe. I could have gotten a better crew. Dern hangs back 10 feet, crossbow trained past your shoulder, covering all 3 of you. The tunnel widens as you reach the edge of the chamber. It's a natural cavern, maybe 40 feet across, with a domed ceiling 20 feet high. Crystals cluster along the walls, pulsing with that faint blue light. The torch burns in an iron sconce on the far side, its flame steady. No draft here, but no draft up here to disturb it. Below the torch, a stone pedestal rises from the cavern floor, waist high, its surface covered in more of the flowing script. And on the pedestal, something catches the torchlight. A shard of dark metal, about the length of your forearm, jagged at one end and smooth on the other. It pulses faintly in time with the humming, a dull, rhythmic glow running through its surface like a heartbeat. The chamber is otherwise empty. The humming is strongest here, and you realize it's coming from the shard. But on the ground near the pedestal, you spot 4 sets of impressions in the dust, kneeling, 3 spaced evenly, 1 slightly forward, as if they had knelt here, facing the shard and then simply stopped. No signs of struggle, no bodies. Thrain's voice is barely a whisper. The venturers, they made it here. What do you do about the shard? So I see impressions in the dust of kneeling. So they kneeled here like adoring the shard of dark metal, which is obviously not magical at all and certainly good. Okay. I don't know. I want to look at the impressions in the sand, keeping my distance. There must be footsteps around them, coming there and going somewhere, right? They had to come here. I guess they didn't fly. There are impressions of people kneeling here. So there must be footsteps either ingoing and outgoing. You crouch low, keeping the pedestal and shard well ahead of you, and study the dust-covered floor. The torchlight flickers, but you have enough light to read the ground. The kneeling impressions are clear. 4 figures, 3 side by side, 1 a step ahead at the pedestal, but around them, you find incoming footprints, 4 sets, the same 4 venturers, entering from the tunnel. But their bootprints are clear, distinct, no signs of hesitation or hurry. But there are no outgoing footprints. None at all. The 4 knelt here, and they never stood up. No drag tracks, no stumbling marks, no crawling. The dust around the kneeling impression is undisturbed, as if they simply faded from existence mid-kneel. Crag tenses behind you. Belathor, that doesn't sit right. Thrain adds, even quieter. The shard's still glowing, still humming. Whatever took them might still be here. Roll your survival check. Why do I need a survival check? There's not good sign. Oh, natural 20. I'm immortal. I can survive anything. The shard bows to me now. You read the ground like a master tracker. The details snap into focus. One more detail emerges as you shift your angle, catching the torchlight at a low slant across the dust. There's a 5th set of marks, fainter, older, almost completely obscured by the venturer's boots. A single set of footprints leading to the pedestal and back out, from before the venturers arrived. A bootprint, but wrong. The tread is too regular, too shallow, as if the walker weighed almost nothing. And there's a subtle drag on the left side, as if the figure limped slightly. Whoever, or whatever that was, they stood here, claimed the shard was already here, and left. The venturers came after, knelt, and never rose. The shard continues its slow rhythmic pulse, humming in the quiet chamber. The torch burns steadily above it. Thrain whispers, barely audible. What do you see, Belathor? You have an eerie feeling that whatever the venturers found here was left for them, and that the humming... You notice it's slightly offbeat from the pulse of the shard. And if the shard and the hum come from different sources... As if the shard and the hum come from different sources, what do? I whisper what I notice to the team and move slowly forwards to inspect the shard. I signal for them to stand back. I'm a leader. I risk my life. I hope I get their love and affection. Maybe this is a bit stupid. I should have let one of them die ahead. You relay your findings in a low murmur. The 5th set of prints. The wrongness of the thread. The left side drag. The pulse and the hum not quite matching. Crag's knuckles whiten on his hand axe. Dern adjusts his aim, covering the chamber. Thrain's jaw tightens, but he nods and holds position as you signal them back. You approach the pedestal alone, great axe ready but low. Each step is deliberate, measured, your weight settling in the dust without a sound. The shard grows clearer as you near it. The dark metal is unlike any you've seen. It doesn't reflect the torchlight so much as absorb it. It's Vantablack, drinking in the flame and releasing it as that faint rhythmic glow. The surface is smooth at the rounded end, jagged at the broken one, as if it was shattered from something larger. The flow of the broken edge suggests it was twisted, not struck, torn or wrenched apart. Up close, you can see the script on the pedestal. It's the same flowing spiral pattern from the tunnel, but here it's clearer, sharper. It's not decorative, it's writing, but in a language you don't recognize. The characters seem to shift slightly in the torchlight, as if the shadows themselves animate them. The humming is intense at this range, a physical pressure against your skin. It's coming from all around you, not from the shard. The shard pulses, but the hum resonates from the walls themselves. And then you notice the shard's pulse is slowing, very gradually, as if responding to your presence. The rhythm is trenching, becoming longer, deeper. What do you do? Okay, we have two options here. The rational option, which is leaving this shit alone and going back home, or the Belathor dwarf option, which is grabbing the shard because I am a crazy dwarf. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I reach for the shard slowly and grab it and likely die or disappear in the process, I guess. Your fingers close around the cold, dark metal. The moment you touch it, silence. The humming stops, the rhythm stops, the torch flame freezes, not going out, but utterly still, as if time itself has ceased in this chamber. Then the world twists. A rush of sensation floods through you, not pain, but knowing. Visions cascade behind your eyes in a torrent. A vast, dark plain under a sky of fractured stars. A circle of standing stones, each carved with the same symbol from the cave mouth. 7 figures in hooded cloaks, their faces hidden arranged around a central stone altar. On the altar, a shard of the same dark metal, whole and gleaming. One of the figures speaks, a voice like grinding stone. The seal weakens. The 6th piece has been recovered. The circle nears completion. Another voice, sharper, impatient. The venture has found this one. Their bodies have been rendered. Their essence now fits the binding. What the hell? A 3rd figure turns, and you see beneath the hood, for just an instant, a face. Pale, gaunt, eyes like dying embers. It looks directly at you. Another comes for the piece, it says. It does not matter. All seekers become fuel. The vision shatters. You're back in the cavern, the shard cold in your grip. The torch flame sputters back to life. The humming has resumed, but it's slower now, a distant thrum, as if receding deeper into the stone. And the shard, you feel connected to it. It's bound to your hand, not stuck, but warm now, as if it recognizes you. The impressions in the dust remain. The cavern is still. Your cousins call out from behind. Crag's voice, urgent. Belathor, you went white as bone. What happened? Damn. What the hell am I discovering here? 7 figures. And what does this even mean? The seal weakens. The 6th piece has been recovered. The circle nears completion. And all venturers and all seekers become fuel. This does not sound good at all. I don't want to become fuel. But I tell them all I saw and heard. I ask them if this makes any sense to them. What the hell? At least now I have a warm shard. What else could a man/dwarf want? You turn from the pedestal, the shard still in your hand. Its warmth pulses against your palm, not the slow rhythm from before, but something quicker, more alive, like a second heartbeat. You recount the vision, the dark plain, the circle of stones, the 7 hooded figures, the seal, the 6th piece, the circle nearing completion, the gaunt-faced speaker who looked straight at you and called all seekers fuel. Thrain's face is pale in the torchlight, but his eyes are sharp. He listens without interruption, stroking his beard. When you finish, a heavy silence settles. Thrain speaks first, his voice low. The seal. I've heard that word before, in Emberford. Old Boren Ironhand, the miner who tried to talk you out of coming. He muted something about a seal in the deep dark once. I thought he was drunk. Crag runs, 7 figures, hooded. That's cult talk. We had a cult in my old outfit, the Hashan Circle. They wore masks, offered blood to the mountain. Company put them down, but they never had anything like that. He nods at the shard of your hand. What sort of cult was that? They fed blood to the mountain and wore outfits and masks. Dern finally speaks, reluctant. There's a passage in the Venturer's Codex. Thin, barely a page. Under prescribed signs, a symbol of a broken circle and the starless sky. The old venturer who showed it to me said it was the mark of the Ebon Conclave. He said they were old. Older than Emberford. Older than Brightvale. He said they were forgotten, he pauses. I thought it was a ghost story. The shard pulses warmly in your grip. The Ebon Conclave. I want to try and remember anything I might have heard about the Ebon Conclave. And I try to understand what exactly is my connection to the shard. He pulses, he has a heartbeat, and I am obviously attached to it. Okay, Ebon Conclave. Okay. You close your eyes, the shard warm in your palm, and dig deep into the vaults of your memory. The mountain sagas your father sang by the herd. The old tales of the venturers strayed in low voices over ale. The histories of Brightvale and its founding. You sift through fragments, the dwarf realm of Boren, the fall of Sky King's dynasty, the wars against the Deep Lords, but the Ebon Conclave leaves no trace. It's a name that doesn't belong to any song you know, any saga you've memorized, any history you've studied. It's as if the name itself has been scrubbed from the records of the world, leaving only a footprint, a whisper in the dark that someone like Dern heard once and half forgot. As for the shard, you focus on the connection. It's not a magical bond you recognize, not like the enchantment in a dwarven forged blade. It's more like kinship, as if the shard recognizes you not as a master, but as a carrier, a vessel. It wants to be held. It wants to go somewhere. And deep in your gut, a troubling thought surfaces. The vision showed 7 pieces, 6 recovered. This is the 7th? Or the 6th? And if each piece takes a willing bearer, what happened to the last 6? Roll your history check. What a DC of 18, yeah, okay. I know nothing. I'm dumb. I have a 10. I missed my history classes. You sift through every scrap of dwarven lore, every fireside saga, every venturous tale you've ever heard at the common tables of Emberford. The Ebon Conclave doesn't ring any bells. Neither does the broken circle and starless sky symbol Dern mentioned, as if someone took a chisel to your memory where those names ought to be. You shake your head. Nothing. The name's empty to me. As for the shard's connection, you can feel it wanting to be carried, to move, but the nature of the bond eludes you. It's not hostile, that much you trust, but trust in a piece of dark metal that showed you a vision of hooded figures feeding on venturers. That's a thin line to walk. Crack clears his throat. We've got the shard, we've got the report, in a matter of speaking. We know what happened to the venturers. Question is, do we head back to Emberford, or do we look for those footprints and see where they lead? The warmth of the shard pulses against your palm, almost expectantly. What do you do? What do I do indeed? I want to understand where the shard wants to move to. Is it deeper into the cave or back from where we came? And where does the 5th set of footprints lead? I don't know if I want to follow the shard or go the opposite direction of the shard. I don't know if I trust this obviously not harmful shard according to the dungeon master. You turn your attention to two things at once. The pull of the shard and the trail of the 5th figure. The shard. You hold it loosely, closing your eyes, feeling for a direction. It wants something, Not a direction exactly, but a purpose. The tug isn't towards the cavern's depths or back towards the surface. It feels like it wants you to wait, to hold it, to bring it somewhere specific, but that somewhere isn't here. It's a place you've never been. The shard doesn't know the way home because it's never been home. It was made here, or broken here, and now it wants to be reunited. What the? The footprints. You pad back to the fifth set, the older, fainter tracks. With the torchlight at a low angle and the dust disturbed only by the venturer's arrival, you trace them clearly now. The figure with the strange shallow thread on the left side limp. They entered from a different passage. Not the tunnel you came through, but the narrow crevice on the far left wall of the cavern, half hidden behind a curtain of crystal growth. You can see the footprints emerge from that gap, walk directly to the pedestal, pause, and then walk back to the same crevice. The figure never knelt, never prayed, never touched the shard. They just looked at it and left. The crevice is dark, narrow, and the air from it carries a faint metallic scent, different from the dust and stone of the main tunnel. Wisdom skill check. Survival. A 10? I was able to 13. I succeeded something. I'm not a failure. You crouch at the mouth of the crevice, torch held low. The fifth figure's tracks lead in and out cleanly. No doubling back, no hesitation. And you notice something you missed before. The prints are slightly deeper on the way out than on the way in. Carrying something. Damn, I'm good at this. You peer into the crevice. It's tight. You'd have to turn sideways, but it opens into a larger space about 15 feet. The metallic scent is stronger here. Not blood. Something sharper, like cold iron and ozone after a storm. The shard in your hand gives a single sharp pulse. Not warm, but urgent. It noticed the crevice too. Crag slides up beside you, peering into the darkness. That's a crawl, not a walk. But the track says someone went through. Someone small or thin. Thrain adds quieter. Could be a back way out. Could be where they came from. He doesn't need to say who they are. Do you lead the way into the crevice, head back to Emberford with the shard, or something else? I'm not going back now. I just found this amazing thingy thing. Okay, so I go in, carefully listening to anything that might be ahead and careful not to get stuck. Let's just go. Let's just find what's in the crevice where the fifth set of footprints came and went. You hand your torch back to Dern. It'll only get in the way of a tight squeeze, and pull out the dark shard. It pulses with a faint, cool light, just enough to see by. Better than flame in a crack this narrow. You turn sideways, press your back against the rough stone, and shuffle in. The walls scrape against your leather and chain. The metallic scent thickens. Your breath echoes, close and damp. Ahead, the crevice twists slightly, then opens into a space you can't quite see yet. The shard's glow catches the walls, veins of dark ore unlike the pale limestone of the main tunnel. And on the floor, just where the passage widens, you see the footprints again, leading forward. You pause, ear tilted, listening. And we're doing a perception check. Am I... Nat 1. Jesus, I'm deaf. I can't hear anything. I'm gonna go straight into... goddamn monster. The stone shifts beneath your foot. You didn't see it. The floor at the crevice, just past the narrowest point, is not solid rock. It's the thin crust of mineral deposit over a void. How is this? Your boot breaks through it with a sharp crack, and you lurch forward, the shards glow spinning wildly as you catch yourself on the far wall. The clatter echoes through the chamber beyond, loud, unmistakable. For a long frozen moment, there's silence. Then, from ahead in the darkness, a sound. Soft, deliberate. The scrape of boot leather on stone. Someone moving, and not trying to hide it anymore. And then a voice, low and amused, echoing from the chamber beyond. Bold of the venturers to send a dwarf through a crack. You are no seeker, but you carry its warmth. No seeker. A pause. The sound of something metallic being sheeted. Come forward. Let me see the one who holds the peace. The one who holds the peace. The shard drums in your hand, responding to the voice. Your cousin's behind you. Crag's voice tight. Belathor? What do you do? What do I do? I think this is a good point to stop this this session, because I need to think what do I do. Damn, this was a lot. This was really cool. Good job, DM. Okay, I'm impressed with this session. There was no combat whatsoever, but there was a lot of lore being dropped here, and I'm actually super curious about what the hell is going on. There's the shard, there's the hooded figures, there's the people that kneel in front of the shard and just disappear. There's whoever the hell this guy is, just living on a crevice in the middle of a cave that's amused and that sheaths the sword instead of defending himself against the dwarf, so I guess he can kill me at will. Alright, let's stop here and let's continue this on the next session. And again, thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Endlessness. If you want to try it out yourselves, go to theendlessness.com. It's free, you can have 23 turns for free anytime. I can't make all turns for free because you're gonna bankrupt me into tokens. But yeah, so try it out, tell me how it goes in the comments. Thank you for joining, and we'll continue this next week. Whew, this was a lot, damn.